There's something about this that absolutely puts me in a really good mood. And it's not because I wrote it. It just somehow speaks to me. And I'm thankful that it does. Because this shit is pretty too, man. Tambourine in there. Funky, grooving. Pushing you along. That's how I feel life is sometimes. It's just a couple little sweet notes in there. Make you realize that it's not all ugly. Oh, Jesus. Well. Ladies and gentlemen and all other folk, welcome back to another edition of the Rookie Artist Podcast. He is I and I is him. Slim with the curved trucker brim. Back to give it to you once again. I am here. It is I, the Rookie Artist. Yes. It is a little late. I was saving this podcast because I had potentially had a trifecta of death coming at you. But unfortunately, plans fell through and things got shifted around, so it is just I flying solo with you. I'm sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. You get to hear me rumble and ramble and mumble through another edition of the Rookie Artist Podcast, but that's what we're doing here. We're talking to one another. You can talk back. I can't hear you. I don't know if you're rolling your eyes right now. You probably are. I would be. I would be rolling my eyes, but that's only because I can't see your face and you can't see my face. So, let's talk about some things. There's been some things weighing heavy on my mind lately. First and foremost, I wanted to get it out of the way. Some good news. I think that I painted the best picture I've ever done with different colors than I've ever used before. To where even in certain lights, some of it looks a little pastel, some of it looks a little pinkish and purplish in a way, when pink and purple was nowhere near the palette or the canvas or the brush. Not even blended together did they even look like that. The closest thing that any of them came to looking like was probably a crimson. You can barely tell it in there with the brown, the burnt umber, the raw sienna. You can hardly tell, but this painting is of a little village on a hilltop that came purely from my own imagination. And I almost threw away this painting, stabbed it in the heart, burned it, stomped it on the ground, broke it into pieces, set it ablaze again. I was so done with this canvas. First and foremost, sometimes I get on a roll where I paint 4 or 5 pictures in a row, and I guess this is probably a pretty good average, but 2 of them come out good, 1 of them comes out okay. The other 2 are just, they were just practice. Maybe they were copies of the same picture. Maybe too many of the same colors were used, so it got kind of boring towards the end. It lost my focus over time, which can happen. But that's what happened to this one particular canvas, and I painted something that I painted before. I tried to mimic it, but it just didn't come out right, so I decided to paint over it. And in doing so, I decided to pick a couple different colors that I never used before, or at least haven't used in abundance. Those being gray, a dark, deep gray, burnt sienna, which is a brown, burnt umber, which is a darker brown, raw sienna, which is a lighter brown, and a red oxide, a deep red, almost maroonish, the way that blood would look. And I squirted them on this canvas because I thought, oh, this will be dark enough and These will mix well together. Well, they didn't. They didn't at all. They didn't mix well at all together. And my brush strokes on it were terrible. I was like, Jesus. So I actually spent more than probably 20, 30 minutes just trying to fix the mess that I made in the beginning. And I didn't see anything in it whatsoever. And what I did was I just had some colors left over from the excess paint that I put on the canvas in the first place. And it just started making strokes. And out of it came this wonderful little picture. This little village on a hilltop. And the way that the browns and the gray mix together, it actually looks a lot like as the sun would come up on a desert town in the southeast United States, up there on a hilltop on a plateau. It just has this beautiful mixture of gray and white and light oranges and light reds. It's a very pretty picture. It got me really inspired, and it inspired a lot of gratitude in me to never give up and to be thankful for the opportunity that you have. Because I had an opportunity to keep the canvas the way it was. It was a decent picture on there. It was boring to me, but it was a decent picture. I could have just left it. Or, I don't even know how I got on this topic, but I could have just left that picture the way it was. Or I could have just scrapped it to the side and let it be. But I kept working with it. I kept working with it. I kept working with it. And I'm grateful that I got the opportunity to make something beautiful out of something ordinary. And that's what you have the ability to do every day. You have the ability to make something special out of something ordinary. Life is tough because you have to deal with people who think differently than you, act differently than you. You have to put yourself in situations that are both comfortable and uncomfortable at the same time, most times. Sometimes, quite often, to be honest. You may even have a job, a profession, a career, something you've been doing for a long time, something that you make a lot of money at, something that there's a great deal of security in it because you can do it so well. It's it's very repetitious. So the more you practice, the better you get at it, just like anything. But you could absolutely hate this job. This job gives you no satisfaction whatsoever. Um, but you have to find the beauty in what you're able to do. You have to be grateful that you have the opportunity to turn something from ordinary to extraordinary to special, extraordinary. And this is something that I'm battling right now. Because right now, it seems that a big part of my life is just a canvas that I squirted 5 different colors on and started to paint without even thinking about what I'm actually going to do with these colors. And right now I'm in the middle process and I'm trying to see through the fog. And I'm doing my very best to embrace the middle and trying to find the parts that you learn from and you grow from. I'm trying desperately to do that. For those who suffer through any form of depression, any form, we've talked about this before, especially with the recent suicides of Chris Cornell and the dude from Linkin Park. The fuck is his name? Chester Bennington? That's his name. In no way could I ever judge anybody who's dealing with this. I don't even know what to call it because it varies from person to person. It always will vary from person to person because everybody's different. But my form of depression comes as a feeling of just emptiness. Like I'm hollow. Like very few things give me joy at the moment. One is being alone with the rookie wife. 2 is painting. 3 is writing. 4 is playing music. Absolutely none of those have to do with talking to other people. I've been doing what I've been doing in the restaurant business for over 20 years. I've been somebody who's pleased and been at the pleasure of other people for my source of income for so long that I'm starting to get to a point where I feel as if I don't make a change soon, that I might possibly just break that threshold of enjoying people and instead of being a complete sellout, so to say, meaning that I sold my soul for a few $100s a day to be at the beck and call and whim of others, and yet feel that I get treated very poorly by the public, by people. Not everybody. Let's not jump to conclusions. I don't want to make anybody seem that I'm making blanket statements because not everybody is the same, obviously. There are beautiful, wonderful people. But when I say I'm tired of people, I'm tired of people in general as a group. Individuals, people that I meet one-on-one, I love them. Love having conversations with an open person, somebody who's willing to share their ideas and accept yours, even if they don't accept yours, that they listen to them at least. I can deal with those people. Those people are fun and nice to grow with, learn from, have a nice conversation, share a cocktail with, have some laughs, find common ground. But especially, and my depression comes as a seasonal thing, and right now it's in full swing, and that shit is killing me. In regards to the fact that I'm a waiter in the restaurant business, I'm surrounded by people. Right now, I don't want to talk to anybody. I don't want anybody to talk to me. I just want to be left alone and deal with my thoughts, think about what my next move is, practice my art, be alone, be solitary, be in solitary. What the struggle is right now is to not get upset with those who are asking me if I'm okay, because I'm fine. But the amount of times people ask me if I'm okay, I just want them to leave me alone. And I wish that people would just see that. I know I'm asking a lot. But if you see somebody that looks like they don't want to talk, don't talk to them. Please. Please don't talk to them. You don't have to. You know? Let them talk to you. At least people who call themselves your friends. I'm not saying that anybody who's asked me, hey, are you okay? Is everything alright? What's going on? I'm not saying that they're not friends. But please, as a friend, realize that I don't want to talk to you. If I say hello, that's as much as I want to talk to you. Unless I absolutely have to. That's not mean. It's just something that I can't. I can't. I just can't. I have to save all my energy to talk to complete strangers because that's my job. People who know me and say they respect me and like me and enjoy my company. This is something I've been thinking about because my brother brought this up. And one reason why he is the way that he is because he knows that people look up to him. Look to him for guidance. Look to him for courage, for inspiration, for help, for camaraderie, for friendship. I look to him for all those things. I have the good fortune to be very close to a person like that. But he realizes this as the same as I do. And he realizes that people, in a way, almost require him to be that way because that's what they know and love. And because they require him to do that and be that as he is, because it helps them. It gives them hope and courage and strength. And people look to me the same way. I didn't want to acknowledge that or admit that for a very long time, but I realized that that is true. People look to me for joy and laughter and a shoulder. People look to me as a caring, a kind friend, a person that is enjoyable to be around. People look to me to be that. That brings them joy. And the hardest part about that is that when you deal with the public, as much as I do, you get very good at pleasing others and being there for others. It's especially for somebody, I guess it's in my character to be such, but especially for me, I like to be a part of joyful, happy times. I like to help others. I like to be a friend to strangers and friends alike. I love to grow and laugh and be with my family. I can't do that all the time, though. I need time for me. And lately it feels that the time for me has been shrinking less and less and less and less and less. To the point where the only person I ever feel comfortable around anymore is my wife. I have been experiencing such a high level of anxiety lately that it's almost getting fearful. Like, it's through the roof. Strangers. Now, anxiety. Let's talk about that real quick because a lot of people like to use, ah, I have troubles with anxiety. People want to use that now because they think that they can. Here's a couple definitions of anxiety: a feeling of worry, nervousness, or unease, typically about an imminent event or something with an uncertain outcome. One, here's where I'll tell you that takes a left turn for me. I've been dealing with people for so long that I kind of have a firm understanding. Like, I have a big data pool to get knowledge from, to draw knowledge from, and a vast amount of experience to this topic. And I kind of have a feeling that people generally fall into like 3 to 4 groups. And currently I don't want to deal with any of them. I don't want to deal with the people who think they're funny. I don't want to deal with the people who think they're cute. I don't want to deal with the people who think they have money or status. I don't want to deal with the people who think that they're better than you. Have a sense, almost an odor about them, where their nose is slightly cocked north, up towards their eyes, and they're perpetually looking down. It may be the environment that I'm in, but this is the best environment for me to be in order to make the amount of money that I need. Currently, This is my situation. Anxiety. Desire to do something, typically accompanied by unease. I get anxious now just talking to people and watching their reactions. So much easier now. So much easier now. That it is bogging me down. It's taking longer for me to get my words together. Um, I don't even really want to be in contact with friends. That is what I'm dealing with at the moment, friends. So believe me, if you're out there and you're listening to this and you say, hey, Rook, what do you do about it? Well, in times like these, this is what I kind of think of as the storm. The winds are brewing. The rain is beating down. There is nothing holding you down but sheer will and determination to continue to strive because you don't know what the next moment will be, when your last breath will be, when your last heartbeat will be. So you have to push forward and stand firm at all times to who you are, or else you're just going to get carried away with the wind. And in times like these, when there's a storm, you have to know where your safe places are, how to navigate the weather, and just deal with it. Now, this is a seasonal thing, but it usually lasts 6, 8, sometimes 12, but not usually any more than 8 weeks, about 2 months. Or, like I said, it's just like an empty feeling. It's not a feeling of despair. I know where despair comes in when you have these empty feelings, because you feel that this emptiness is never going to get filled. The void is never going to get filled. So therefore, what's the use? What's the purpose? That's not me. I know that that's not true. Now, through experience, I know that all you have to do is just weather the storm and everything will be okay. You'll get through it. It's all right. You know? What else are you going to do? You're going to quit? You don't quit. You don't quit before the magic happens. Ever. Jesus. Also, this is coming at a really funky time like it did last year for the Raw Artist Show coming up here in Baltimore, October 24th, 2017. I was so graciously invited back by the Raw Artist folk, and I'm really excited on getting moving with that and selling some tickets and having people come to the show, and that's exciting. But I have some more work to do, especially since I painted this one thing earlier this week that really got me excited. It was the first thing that I painted that really got me excited in a while. Not that I haven't been doing good work lately, but this one piece got me really excited. And I'm excited. How many more times can I say excited? Jesus Christ. I'm thrilled to move forward after all this excitement. Oh my god, I'm fucking retarded. So I had the day off. I painted some trim on the house, which is dope. I love actually like painting walls. I love painting walls. Um, I love painting, spreading paint. I don't know, it just excites me. I think there's something in the paint fumes that gets me high. It must, or else, like, how could I love it so much? But you know, you got to keep doing. You got to keep going. Why not? Just find something else to do. So, I got up early today and I started painting some trim, and then I exercised outside. My back and my shoulders have been killing me lately. That's another thing about this job. I think it's absolutely killing me physically. The stress is starting to take a toll on my muscles. It's terrible. I feel like a retard. But I keep on doing it. Then I went out. Like I said, I was supposed to meet my brothers in Leesburg, Virginia, right now with the Marine Corps, and we were hoping to get up with him, but the plans got kind of moved around. So I'm going to try to catch him later on this week. Hopefully, because he's not usually this close. I mean, he is, but his schedule's so tight. It would just be really nice to see him. Then we can commiserate about the Orioles' collapse in the wild card race in baseball in general. The pitching is just so absolutely god awful this year, and at times has been really good. There's been some bright spots, but I mean, March 31st, before the season opened, I said we have at least 2 to 3 number 2 pitchers. Meaning the second person in your starting rotation is usually your second best pitcher. We have 3 of those. We don't have a clear defined number 1 ace. Chris Tillman's been fantastic. Kevin Gausman was primed to break out. Dylan Bundy to improve on the great rookie season that he had last year. And guess what? The only person that performed with any kind of consistency whatsoever has been Dylan Bundy. Kevin Gausman was asleep the first half of the year. Chris Tillman must still be injured because he cannot, for some reason, throw a ball anywhere but at the players' bats. I mean, he's just been getting shellacked. The inconsistency with hits. Um, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen to this team. Except for next year, I'm going to root for the goddamn Baltimore Orioles again. And I will every year until the day I die. Because baseball is the greatest sport that we have. Our national pastime. I don't care what any of these people... I mean, football's cool. Sure. Especially when it's pretty out. October football is kind of cool. I like it, especially college football when you get to see those big bowl stadiums and 90,000 drunk kids spending their parents' money rooting for a team, getting really attached. That's the kind of college experience I really wanted. Um, I would have hated it though. I would have hated being around that many people. Um, you know, um, I'm just saying. I'm just saying that fucking Orioles are breaking my hearts, and I really wish they hadn't. Because I really thought that they had a chance at going all the way this year. And what I mean by chance, I mean I really hoped that they were going to win the World Series this year. I was really hoping. Um, I don't know. I don't know. So that's going on. My stress through the roof with work. I got this art show coming up that I'm all most certainly going to put so much stress and pressure on myself and say that everything's cool. No, everything's in the bag. I got it. I still have no idea what the prep is, what the setup is, what the layout's going to look like, who's going to come, who's going to buy tickets, how many tickets I have to buy myself. It's going to be madness. It's going to be madness. And so I'm just trying to keep my mental clarity about me so that I can just just push forward and paint. Um, I have been writing more frequently, which is fantastic. Um, the poems seem to be fitting really well. Um, I don't know. Writing has always seemed to have been my go-to, my exercise when solitude is needed. Because I can do and say and think everything I need to. Thankfully. Thankfully, I have that. Music has helped a lot bring sweet sounds because for some reason or another, I can't really play anything sad. Like a blues song for me is still an uplifting gospel song somehow. So that's good too. But I'm looking forward to stretching myself painting-wise coming up here. Totally excited about that. Um, and I don't know. Like, for example, like I was thinking with a pen in my hand the other day, and it goes a little something like this: Babe Ruth, Holden Caulfield, and Superman. Of course, Superman. Miles Davis and James Dean, the man who invented the laser beam. But mostly it was those guys in the band. Even some of those on the ball field. It was never the jock, nor was it ever the famous. I knew the moment I saw it. It was the way the musician would call it. Die in a cubicle? Heinous. Yet I am ever fearful of the clock. Boyhood tunes get stuck in your soul. Boyhood nicknames forever ingrained. Boyhood dreams last forever. But time waits for no one, ever. The clock keeps ticking frame by frame. But boyhood heroes never grow old. They always remain. I mean, I think that's fucking cool, and that's why I wanted to share it with you. So, um, I I am scared. I'm scared to be around people now. And that breaks my heart. And I hope it doesn't last forever. And I don't want to get too scared to where I never want to be around people anymore. And I'm always going to talk to you, friends. At least for the time being, until it gets old. But I don't think it will anytime soon. I seem to be enjoying this very much. And I do this because I want to share who I am and how I am, because I know that there's other people thinking same things I am, thinking the same way that I am, feeling the same way that I am, have felt the same way that I am, pursuing the same passions and dreams as I am. Maybe you want a little encouragement, maybe you just want somebody to commiserate with. Either way, that's fine with me. I don't know. Something interesting happened today that I'd like to share with you. I went to a great place, by the way, for young painters, because canvas can get expensive. Young painter, any painter, canvas can get expensive. Really expensive. Especially when you paint as much as I do. At times, when you go through spurts of 5 and 6 canvases, that could run you up a pretty penny. Great place to get canvas is Goodwill. People, for some reason or another, paint pictures, take them to Goodwill and say, I don't want this anymore, just donate it to Goodwill. A lot of times, they're not very good pictures. At all. Like, at all. Not very good pictures. So today, and it looks like I have an 18, I found a couple 18 by 24 inch canvas that already had pictures painted on them. They have a yellow tag on them, so they were 50% off. And so 2 canvases of a really cool size, used, of course, who cares, because you're only going to paint over it anyway. $5. Or excuse me, $10, $5 a piece. It's fantastic. I can't wait to get to work after I'm done this podcast. I'm going to get to work and work on one of these paintings. But so yeah, it's a great place to get materials. That and major home improvement stores, Lowe's, Home Depot, places that have a lot of paint, you can get really cheap paint. That's great paint. You can, if it smears, if it spreads, it's artist material in my book. Everything's artist material, but especially for a painter, anything that spreads is great. Cheap paint, expensive paint. Just use it all. Use it all on the same canvas. Don't be afraid to mix things up. Who cares what any critic says? By the way, use black. Even though I love his paintings, I swear to God, I think it was Rembrandt who said that never to use black, that it's the death of a painting. He's black all the fucking time. I don't know what the fuck he's talking about. And I know that he probably just put a couple colors together to make it look so dark that it looked black. But whatever, Rembrandt. I'll paint with black if I fucking want to. But anyway, I digress. Go to these places and get cheap art material. Okay? It's for practice. You never know what you're going to get out of something as you practice with it, but if you mess it up, if you nick it up, if it turns out bad, one, you can always paint over it, but two, who cares? It was $5. Don't waste your money trying to be a big star. But I went to Goodwill and I set this canvas up on my easel and I'm about to work on it. And for the last 2.5 hours, I've been staring at it. It's a picture. It's horizontal. It's of a dirt road that has a serious bend to the right and that's leading westward. So there's a big looping right or left, or big looping turn to the left. And some nice little trees in there. Actually, primarily just one tree sticking out over the road. And I was like, oh, this is shit. I'm going to paint over this. And I bought another one, same size. That one's not as interesting. But this one, for some reason, I kind of feel guilty painting over. I'm painting over somebody else's work. I know they donated it, or at least somebody did, to Goodwill. But I'm about to augment somebody else's painting. I've never felt that way before. I've done it more than a few times. And a lot of the times it's come out really well. As a matter of fact, one of my favorite pieces that I ever painted came from a canvas that it was a mass-produced cow, like an abstract cow. You'll see them in like Pier 1, those kind of terrible pictures. But somebody still painted it initially, so I can't be too mad. And it is a cool looking picture, but I wouldn't buy it. It has no character to me. But last August, when Ellicott City flooded, my wife and I were living there, and I came home to pick up some stuff, and there were two canvas. One was wrapped completely still in cellophane that it was shipped in, and the other one was damaged from the water. But they were leaning up against the building that I was living in. Great, used it, recycled it. Great picture came out on top of it. I've done it 4 or 5 other times with the canvases that I have. A couple of them came out really, really good. But this one, I don't know. I certainly can't leave it. But I did pay for it. I'm not going to take it back to Goodwill. But I can't have somebody else's painting hanging up in my house. It's not so interesting to the point where I'm drawn to it as a work of beauty. I'm probably more drawn to it that it's just something in my house that I haven't painted before. That it's a full picture. Like I said, not particularly interesting, but it's a different picture than what I would have painted. It's like when somebody gives you a jazz album for the first time and you're a rock and roll guy, but you put that Miles Davis kind of blue on. And something about those opening notes and that crash to arguably the most important jazz record of all time. One of my favorites. Something about that just grabs you, and you can listen to it on repeat for hours. You can listen to that album for the rest of your life and still love primarily heavy metal. Black Sabbath, Ozzy Osbourne's your god, and yet, no matter where you go, you take the copy of this Miles Davis kind of blue record. This painting is not Miles Davis kind of blue record, but it's something else. I might add to it. But I don't know if I'll completely paint over it. It's got me. I don't know. I don't know. The other one is like it has a plate of fruit, and it's very dark. I don't know what I'll probably start with that one because I don't want to mess this nice countryside road with a tree overlapping some of the, like, the proportions are not that good at all in this painting. But the color usage is. There's this one little wispy tree that has a perfect amount of leaves on it. Trees have been the bane of my painting existence ever since. The first thing that I painted was a terrible tree. Terrible, terrible tree. Still can't paint those son of bitches. Like, I mean, they just always come out funky. So I'm definitely starting with the other one first. I might keep this one around for a while. I'll keep you updated on that. You know? Because you have to know what's going on inside the head of this lunatic. It was my wife's birthday this week. Um, we went to the movies. I'm not really a movie person, but we went to the movies. It's not that I'm not a movie person. I love movies, obviously. Who doesn't like going to the movies? I sure as shit love watching movies. But usually you go and you get really excited about the movie, and they play the trailer out so much that that becomes like the single of the movie, and the rest of the album, the movie, is complete shit. Boring, predictable, and you just spent 24, sometimes $36 to take your girl, or take your wife, or to take your husband, or to take your husband, or to take your wife. Those last two were for the gay couples. Because we're all about all other folk. But it has to be really good. You can't charge somebody $36 and just be just random, run of the mill, boring. And so I took her to this movie theater, cool little movie theater, but it's called iPick, and it was in Rockville, Maryland. Um, it was quite a ways to drive, but it was one of these cool special movie theaters where they have fancy recliners, leather seats, very comfortable. They have a waiter that comes around. They have good food, like, I mean, actual food, not necessarily good food, but actual food instead of just like pretzels and nachos and stuff like that. Um, but what's crazy is that, so, oh, anyway, I'm about to jump ahead here. We ordered a bottle of champagne. It's my wife's birthday. Why not? Wasn't expensive. The dude does a wine presentation. The champagne was $50, mind you. He does a wine presentation. I'm in the restaurant business. I look at the wine. I make sure it's the wine that I ordered. Surely, pops the bottle. We're drinking bubbles at the movie theater, feeling like kings, about to watch a scary movie. Speaking of kings, I guess she would be a queen. But speaking of royalty, we watched Stephen King's movie, It. Fantastic fucking movie. I'm not a fan of horror movies only because I don't really get scared like that. The way that horror movies are supposed to like scare you. I like suspense. I like thrillers. I like dramas. Those are like real life kind of scenario movies, stories. That's my thing. Those are the things I like. But this was actually a really cool movie. The special effects were cool. The makeup and the costume was cool. Um, the guy who played the clown was cool. The kids in the movie were really funny. They just reminded me of myself and my friends when we were 12 and 13-year-old boys, just constantly making references to your dick and talking about your mom and making fart sounds and calling each other pussies. It was just very reminiscent of my existence as a 13, 12, and 13-year-old boy. Um, that was dope. We we had some pizza, and then we had some other shit. They gave out free popcorn. It was a cool movie. Cool experience. And then we get our bill. And because it's in a movie theater, I don't know if this happened on purpose or it was an accident. But we went to iPick movie theaters in Rockville, Maryland, in Bethesda. And the bill was brought to us. It was $125. Not that I didn't have $125. But how the hell did a $49 bottle of champagne, a flatbread pizza, and some nachos, these fancy fucking gourmet nachos, how did that come out to be $125? So I left the movie, and one of the waiters says, "Oh, hey, what, are you scared already?" I was like, "No," because it was just about to get to the ending part. Like, it was the beginning of the ending part of the movie. The scariest shit was about to happen, apparently. Something else scary happened. They added $35 to my bill. The guy comes back and says, "Oh, my apologies. I meant to bring you out a half bottle. I brought you the full bottle, but don't worry, I'll take care of it." He brought me the bottle that I ordered. He was trying to make up a terrible excuse. So we get there, and this is on top of the fact that we get there in the beginning, which I didn't even tell you about. So we get there, I'm all excited. I planned this out to a T. I don't plan anything. But it was my wife's birthday. I wanted to make it feel special. So I planned this whole thing out to a T. Go to the movie theater. Just so happens that their corporate headquarters is in Florida. It just got recently pounded by Hurricane Irma. System was down. Shit happens. I get it. They swiped my card the old-fashioned way, chink, right? And somehow I get tickets that say $11 on them, but I was charged $36. So where's my other 14 fucking dollars? I don't get it. The girl at the front desk said, "Oh, I gave you an upgrade. I charged you the wrong amount, but don't even worry about it. Like, I'm not even stressed. I have a receipt for $36. I don't have a receipt for $22. You didn't charge me for anything. You gave me anyway." And then we go to the ball game as a gift, as a wonderful gift. My brother-in-law, Big Jeremy, love him to death, great dude, good friend, gave matching Orioles jerseys with the rookie wife and I's name on the back. Dope jerseys. We wear them to every stadium, every game we go to. We got so many nasty looks when we were in this stadium in comments. And I don't think I'm like a nasty looking dude, or like, I think I'm a pretty approachable person. I think it's noticeable from the outside that I'm pretty loose and carefree. Like, if you see me walking down the street, you'd be like, "Oh, there's a dude who's not pretty tough." Like, you can approach that person without being, fearful that he's going to bark back at you for no reason whatsoever. National Stadium? Fuck the Washington Nationals. Never going to that piece of shit stadium ever again. Unless they're playing the Orioles. And that way I can be the most obnoxious fan possible. That's not true. I refuse to be an obnoxious fan. I just want to talk shit like that. Because I don't appreciate going to another place and be like, "Oh shit, man, you're an Orioles fan? That's cool. What are you here doing?" "Here for my wife's birthday." So not only do I have to go to work and deal with random strangers asking me random fucking questions, thinking that they're fucking cute and clever, which 9 times out of 10 they're not, or enjoyable to be around, or as pleasant or respectful or socially polite as they think they are. I'm starting to think that I was raised like I raised myself. I don't know. That everybody just forgets their manners and how to be. It's fucking crazy to me lately. Um, so even when I want to take my wife out to an enjoyable experience, like, I found myself just wanting to be alone. I just want to paint. I just want to paint. Okay? I just want to paint. I want to paint and listen to Thelonious Monk. Um, and and write and do podcasts and help other people and be a part of their lives and then be a part of my life. But it's starting to get so overwhelming that I'm letting people dictate how I act and how I feel about going into the general public, being a functioning human being. Something so simple as holding a door open for somebody and them not even acknowledging your presence. In a so-called polite society, in a so-called uh, decent place full of values and morals, I have noticed that people have become selfish, self-centered, arrogant, unfriendly, closed off, scared, reactionary children. And when I say scared, they're not scared in the way that I'm scared, as if they attack what is making them fearful, and therefore overcoming their fear of, say, of the unknown, say, talking to a stranger, maybe being talked to in a way that you're not used to or familiar with. That is what being offended is become. That is exactly what being offended has become. It has become something where if I say something to you that you're not used to or accustomed to being talked to or treated a certain way, that has become offensive. I cannot offend you if I do not know you, because that is not in my nature to be so. Talked about this last time. I'm not here to offend you. I'm here to open myself up to you and show you that I am an open human being and that I have feelings too. You may not share the same feelings that I have, but what you do have is you have feelings also. You have thoughts also. You have dreams, desires, goals that you would like to share also. But no, can't fucking do that. Can't open yourself up to new experiences like that. Then you'll open yourself up and people will step on your heart and make you feel like a stupid piece of shit. So now, not only can I go to a baseball game and enjoy myself because I'm out in the general public and people want to talk shit, yell out like retards, then I have to go to work and do the same thing, be surrounded with the general public, my friends who I care for and love tremendously, don't want to leave me alone, want to figure out my problems. My problem is I want to be left alone. My problem is I think I've redlined my system with people over the last 20 years that, I don't know, I just need a change. The tide is coming. I feel a little better for getting that off my chest, I have to tell you. Um, so I'm sorry to put the bend in your ear, people, but that's the way life goes. Um, I mean, it's just time for a change, dude. It's time for a change. The rookie wife and I are going to finalize the purchase of the new compound coming up here soon. New year, new opportunities. But don't worry about that new year. You got October, the rest of September, October, November, and December left. 3.5 months. To do what? To wait? You don't have time to wait. I don't have time myself. I do not have any time to worry about what is going to happen. I need to worry about what is happening right now. Right now, at 9:39, September 15th, Friday. I'm talking to you because I love and care and respect you. And I want you to grow and be the best possible functioning human being you possibly can. Someone who exerts the maximum amount of effort into perfecting every day that they have, every moment that they have. Because that's all that you have, is that moment, is this moment, right now, 9:39. Get up. If you wanted to exercise, get up and do some squats, do some push-ups, sweat a little bit. If you wanted to do it now. If you wanted to paint, turn this off right now and start painting. If you wanted to take a run, if you wanted to write a letter or make a phone call to somebody who broke your heart, or maybe even you broke their heart, and you haven't had the courage to do so, now's that moment. See, now it's 9:40. That moment done passed, but you have it right now. You might as well do it. Pick up the pen. Pick up the phone. Pick up your ass. Do some squats. Do some lunges. And if you have the good fortune to wake up tomorrow, 9/16/2017, and you have breath in your lungs, sure enough, tomorrow when I wake up, because of how much I've smoked, I'm going to have trouble breathing in the morning, but I'm going to take a deep breath if I get the chance to. I'm going to breathe in and out, and I'm going to try my damnedest to get every single speck of whatever residue is left from all the tobacco usage out of my lungs. Because I want to breathe, I want to live, I want to exercise, I want to have the sun touch me. Just because I'm in a hole right now, mentally, feeling empty, does not mean that I should not do everything I possibly can to prepare for the next time that I'm not in that hole. Or that I should prepare myself for the next time I get put in that hole. That I find myself in that hole. You only have right now. That also goes to being something that you're not. If you feel for some reason or another that you're doing something that is against who you are morally, something that is against your character, stop. Turn around. Make a left. Do whatever you can. Put the bottle down. Pick up the paintbrush. Put some shorts on. Do some squats. Do some push-ups. Stretch yourself to the maximum amount of your ability. So for me, I will continue to love people and continue to be open. Continue to be there for them. Continue to try to learn and expand myself and expand my existence through others. But right now, I need a break. That doesn't stop me from preparing for the next time. Ladies and gentlemen, all of the folk, I'm going to wrap it up. I love y'all. Sorry for the somber tone, but I wanted to speak to you. We're going to get the Three Musketeers on here eventually, I promise you. And here's the deal. I want you to know that in every single way, that today is not over. Your life isn't over until you want it to be. And if you have hope, if you have drive, if you have ambition, if you see something that inspires you, go after it. You don't have time to waste. So, that being said, you can catch me at theRookieARtist.com. No, you can't. TheRookieARtist.com is my website. You can catch me at TheRookieArtist@gmail.com. That's what I meant to say. TheRookieArtist@gmail.com. ROOKIARTIST@gmail.com. Catch me on Instagram. I'm constantly putting up my poems. I'm constantly putting up paintings. Constantly putting up a playlist of tunes that I'm listening to right now to help me get through this moment. Listen, people. You don't stop. You don't quit before the magic happens. Never. You don't have that time. Oh boy. I love y'all. I really do. I really do. That's why I keep going. I keep going for y'all. Hit me up. And thanks again for listening. I'm going to lead y'all out with a prayer. I thought I knew all along what you would say. I I had the words I needed to pray. Dear Lord, may I have a moment of your time. Before I drive myself out of my mind. And my heart is broken in two, but I know as long as I have you, my sweet, you are so perfect to me. I know that you are all I need, and I travel high and I search down low to find out you were all along. In the background, my sweet talks to me. As she looks so perfect, holding her coffee. And I know I have a time or two where I had no idea what I was to do. And I know that time has passed me by. I've given everyone a piece of my life, but you are the one who gave me a chance. And for you I forever dance. You call the tune, my sweet, I'm for you. And I will forever love you. I think I've tried 1,000 times. I've cried out, I'm out of my mind. But you came along and told me to be free. And I know if I have you, I will be. And I know that times have passed me by, but as long as I'm with you, I feel alive. And I need no other one but you. I know you tell me what to do, how to be, and it's okay to breathe. With you I know that I will see the end of the road before it comes. You know that I am forever not done, because I know that time will pass me by. But as long as I have you, I feel alive.